The old man pulled off my earbuds and tossed them into the sea, so I pushed him into the water, and as long as no one saw it, the whole thing stayed an accident, and I even earned $200 from the newspaper for writing his obituary, and that gave me a way to make money, because if I wrote the piece before someone had an accident, I could keep earning $200 a time. I used to be a regular obituary editor, but with the paper struggling, the chief stopped my salary, and only paid per piece, and in a small town with barely a few 100,000 people, weeks could pass without anyone having an accident.
How will I live?
Maybe you should start killing people.
That thought sparked an idea, though I wasn't ready to hurt anyone for real, so I shifted my targets to people who were seriously ill or working high-risk jobs, since obituaries were like a final note, and everyone wanted something decent left behind. But I ignored the truth that no one stayed calm when facing the end, so my plan fell apart over and over, and the only candidate just kept going strong, running every morning, like nothing was wrong, and I tried to stay away from him until he suddenly reached out and pulled off my earbuds. He threw them into the ocean, and then tried to humiliate me, so I let the moment play out, and that became my first time taking a life, and for some reason a rush hit me, and when I talked to his wife, I learned his illness had been gone for a long time, and he'd been pretending just for attention. So what I thought was the end of a fading life turned out to be the end of someone who had caused plenty of harm, and a strange sense of relief rose in me, and I found a new angle for writing obituaries, because if the cause of an accident was unclear, I could decide it in advance, though I only acted on people who had caused real trouble, like that man whose construction site shortcuts led to the loss of 3 boys, and he became another person who deserved accountability. His girlfriend was my close friend, so she told me everything, including his intermittent medical condition, and a plan formed instantly, so I searched online for ways to trigger it and grabbed a pile of unclaimed old phones from the office storage to build a simple flicker device, and I slipped into his place at night, switched his medication, and left easily. The next day I went back to work and started writing his obituary, and that night I met my friend at a bar and borrowed her phone to send him a bait message, and he replied with an address right away. I drove there fast, but instead of meeting him, I ran into the police, and a wave of panic hit me, and the female officer sensed something off and insisted on checking my trunk. I said the button was broken and handed her the keys, and while she walked to the back, I pulled out a bottle of sleep spray and stepped toward her.
What's with the can?
And I said it was just a kind of gel, and mentioned that I had written her mother's obituary, and I recited a few lines that made her drift into memory, and another officer rushed over saying someone's dog was missing. That delay ruined my timing, and I started thinking maybe I wasn't suited for this, and almost planned to stop. But the next day, the chief handed me the payment, and the man still had an episode from the switched medication, and I realized I never needed to act directly, and then I learned he was wealthy. So the obituary rate doubled, and the early piece I wrote finally got recognized, as I decided to keep expanding my work in this small town, and even when I brushed past a stranger on the street, an obituary would instantly form in my mind.